That boy Kawaki's cooked. Like, I'm not even joking. The man showed up on the battlefield. He had all this aura like he was a final boss, only to get humbled so hard that his enemy made a throne out of the rubble just to sit down on and read a book after the fight started. Bro, don't even look down at Kawaki. He literally just sat above him. And the worst part, this wasn't some random side villain flexing. This is Jura, the 10 Tails humanoid with regeneration powers, codes, Karma Seal Chakra, ISSHIKI's essence, Shibai cells, who just tanked everything that Kawaki threw at him, and he act like this was Tuesday morning yoga. So now here we are. Kawaki has his limiters off and he's having used the Karma Seal. He shrank himself down to Ant-Man levels of size. He's warping projectiles from his own personal pocket dimension. He's using chakra rods. He's shooting out chakra blasts out his hands, and still none of that was enough. He poked some holes into Jura, and Jura was unbothered, which leads me to the next horrifying question. What will be enough? Because I think we all can agree that Kawaki's thinking as he's walking away, hey, gotta get more power, but he's not thinking, I guess I gotta train harder. No. Kawaki's next move might be something even more terrifying, and I'm gonna tell you why. Join me in today's newest Naruto Explained video where your OBC, your original Boruto chief, breaks down for you why this battle with Jura, for as short-lived as it was a wake-up call for Kawaki and Amado, particularly Amado, since he has a habit of building in backdoor problems for himself to take advantage of in the future. Also, the chapter review got sent to the editor last night, so we're hoping to get the review out tomorrow, and this month's review will be longer than last month's video. No sponsorship in this one. If we need another day for editing to maintain the quality of the review that you've been getting with the two Blue Vortex chapter reviews, I thank you in advance for your patience, your understanding, and your support, but we are aiming to get the review out on the day of the official release, which is tomorrow, so that everyone has had a chance to read the chapter when the review drops. Also, if you're into Don, don't forget to check out my Evil Eye Explained video, which is safe for anime only fans of Don, which I'll leave linked in the description box and the end credits. The editor from that Anime Explained channel really did a good job on that one. So getting right into it, we got to start with the battle and Kawaki's full power. So Kawaki entered this fight not with the intention to win. Let's make that clear. His mission was to stall Jura, give Boruto time to lock onto his flying Raijin marker, and then jump back into the fray, get Kawaki, then they get out of dodge. And honestly, Kawaki looked really impressive. And when I say really impressive, I mean, given where he started, where he got hit with 2 attacks and got knocked unconscious, he did extraordinarily better than he did the first time. He handled Jura a lot better than Boruto did when Boruto was fighting. It's enough to where I would say Kawaki is stronger than Boruto. Don't give me the crap, oh, Boruto has the Karma Seal and he could have used it, because Boruto can't use Karma. He said it himself. Momoshiki takes over whenever he tries to activate it. He was trying to suppress it himself in this chapter. I'm not using a hypothetical Karma Seal Boruto for something that Boruto himself can't truly access. So based on where Boruto is right now, Kawaki's stronger. Kawaki, he shrunk himself down to avoid Jura's Biju bombs, and then he absorbed them with the Karma Seal. He was launching projectiles out of the Daikokun dimension when he first got there. He was creating those chakra disruption cubes. He fought with a very unique hybrid style. He's using chakra rods and ninja tech enhanced chakra blasts from his hands. He's drawing on ISSHIKI's combat experience. It was smart, it was tactical, extremely impressive. God knows I have memed Kawaki a lot. Being honest with you, I'm gonna meme him on this thumbnail. I pitched the idea to the channel artist last night on what I wanted. If you get the reference with his thumbnail, you are a top 2% subscriber. But at the end of the day, everything he did in this chapter, it wasn't permanent. The moment that Kawaki was poking holes in Jura's body, the guy stood up, dusted himself off, regenerated like it was a cheat code, and then he made a throne. The disrespect, it was spiritual, and just be honest, that's like an aura moment. When that gets animated, you better believe that that's gonna be something that's like clipped and people are gonna meme. Even Amado, watching from Konoha, he saw it and he immediately realized when Sumire was like, oh my god, he can win. He was like, yeah, this ain't it. This power, even post-limiter removal, it's not enough. He literally says no. Which brings us to the terrifying truth. Kawaki is desperate. Desperate enough to seek out power outside the bounds of normal shinobi growth. which is nothing new for Kawaki, and we've seen what that type of desperation looks like with him. Remember, Amado didn't just promise Kawaki ISSHIKI's powers. When Kawaki made all those demands, that was just the start. Kawaki specifically said, basically, I want to be a god. That limiter removal, that's just phase 1. But we might be seeing the consequence of rushing it, because Kawaki chose to take that fast route, removing the limiters, getting ISSHIKI's attack power, and throwing himself into the battle because he needed to get there as soon as possible. Now having tasted defeat, and defeat in this instance comes from the fact he could not kill Jura, because Jura is a big enough of a threat. If Boruto and Kawaki could have killed Jura in that moment, they would have done so. They didn't. That's the whole reason why Kawaki had to flip the middle finger and talk his trash. He's no better than Naruto talking all that trash to Jigen right before Jigen sealed him away. If they could have killed Jura in that moment, they would have. They didn't, therefore they couldn't. Just from a fundamental writing perspective, this is not like, say, a Jigen or a Code or a Jura, or just your typical shonen villain who has a tendency to play around and fight down to the level of their opponent. Typically with the heroes, unless they have shown that they like to drag things out, like say a Son Goku, typically with a hero, if they have the opportunity to get rid of the greater evil, they do it right there on the spot. They don't hesitate. Unless there's a character flaw, unless they're trying to redeem the villain, which is not the case here, or they're trying to drag the fight out because they enjoy it, which is not the case here. Jura is a world-ending threat. Boruto and Kawaki would be on demon time if they could kill him, but they can't. Not right now. At this moment, Kawaki's gonna demand the rest of the package. He said, I want ISSHIKI's attack power, use science, and otherwise. That means further ninja tech modifications, because Kawaki is a cyborg. Which, reminder, cyborg means human with mechanical enhancements. Kawaki's entire body is a ninja tool, but he's not an android. I still see people confused over that. Now, the other thing on it is also possibly Shibai OTSUTSUKI cells. I keep harping on that because Kawaki does know about Shibai cells, and that's the only other thing that otherwise could have been a potential nod to. What the hell is he going to do with Hashirama cells when he's got the cells of a literal god? What does he need the cells of a bootleg god for? Now, there could also be new abilities that are derived from that entire combination of just the stirring pot that's inside of him. At this time, Kawaki, and he's not going to hesitate. He's going to make Amado finish what he started, no matter the cost, because I think we can kind of say, just based on him having gone there, it does look like he just got ISSHIKI's attack power because time was of the essence. If he did get everything, then he's going to ask for more, because he specifically told Amado, I'm not reviving your daughter until Jura's dead, although Shinju are dead, Code's dead, and Boruto's dead. So Amado has the incentive to power Kawaki up. Kawaki as a character is basically power by any means necessary. That is his core philosophy. He is a consequentialist. Consequentialism is Kawaki. He doesn't care how he wins. He only cares that he wins. He's always walked the path of, if I have to become a monster to protect Naruto, then so be it. That ideology is what separates him from characters like Boruto and Naruto. They trained, they built bonds, and they grew through failure and friendship. They didn't compromise their core values. Boruto went through a moment where he was about to do that, and having seen Momoshiki brag about how he can take cheat codes to get stronger by eating chakra fruits and chakra pills and etc., that made Boruto wake the hell up in the first arc. But Kawaki, that boy, he downloads power, he injects it, and he demands it. Again, he is a cyborg, he's not a shinobi, and he is somebody that is proud of it. But this fight with Jura, it truly exposed the weakness of that ideology. Even godlike strength isn't enough when your enemy is a regenerating force of nature and does not hesitate and has not used their true power yet. Now Kawaki's cornered emotionally from an ideology perspective and also tactically. And he's got to double down, and Jura's now aware these guys can increase their power. They're using love to have done so. And so now we have to ask, is Jura going to seek ways to get stronger as well? You better believe that Kawaki's at least considering Jura is going to find ways to upgrade himself too. Even if Jura stays where he is, Kawaki's not going to stay stagnant. And that brings me to the bigger picture, which is the clash of philosophies. This is where Boruto 2 Blue Vortex gets really interesting thematically. This series, from the very beginning, from chapter 1 of the story, it has always asked this one big question. Even going back to Naruto, Boruto the movie in 2015, before there was ever even talk about a Boruto manga. The question was always, where does science belong in the world of shinobi? Well, in Boruto Naruto Next Generations and now in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, we're seeing that answer being given to us. Boruto represents the traditional ninja path, training, heritage, mentorship. Even though Boruto's trying to break out of the familiar bonds and expectations that come from being the son of the Hokage and the grandson of a Hokage, he is still walking that shinobi path. Kawaki, on the other hand, he represents the technological path, motivation, innovation, and most importantly, shortcuts. Power through any means necessary. But while Boruto fuses legacy and innovation, like making his own version of Flying Raijin using the Karma Seal, Kawaki represents what happens when you replace the shinobi spirit with science. He doesn't just use ninja tech. He relies on it very heavily, almost as much as he relies on the Karma Seal. Notice in that battle with Jura what he did not use. He did not use any ninjutsu. He has completely forsaken it, despite the fact that Naruto is his teacher. Notice when Boruto talked about those possible alternate timelines, he said in one of them Kawaki would have unsealed Naruto and had Naruto train him. Naruto would have made him learn more stuff ninjutsu related. Instead, Kawaki has basically embraced his identity. He is a vessel for ISSHIKI. ISSHIKI can't revive in his body, but he is ISSHIKI's vessel. He has ISSHIKI's power. He has Amado's ninja tech, and he is leaning into it. He told Sarada in chapter 4, I am an OTSUTSUKI built to kill other OTSUTSUKI. He is leaning into that ideology. And in chapter 24, we're starting to see the limits of that approach. Because no matter how many upgrades you plug into Kawaki, you can't code your way out of not truly being ready. A shinobi, on the other hand, would be able to endure that. Kawaki is not a shinobi. Yet, instead of reflecting, Kawaki will almost certainly pursue more power by any means necessary, more Shibai cells, more ninja tech, potentially even sacrifice more of his own humanity, because the only thing he cares about is protecting Naruto from all these threats that he listed to Amado. And that is terrifying, because if he succeeds, look at what the cost will be. This chapter really made one thing crystal clear. Kawaki's not strong enough, not yet. And if that doesn't terrify you, it truly should, especially if you're a fan of Kawaki, because a desperate Kawaki isn't someone who mediates and meditates and trains. He hacks the game itself. And when that doesn't work, he rewrites the code entirely, even if it breaks the world. Look what happened. He triggered omnipotence in Ada. He didn't like the fact that he was the outsider being hunted down. This is the most simplistic way to explain what happened to omnipotence, but he didn't like the fact he was being hunted down and that Boruto's being protected despite Boruto being the threat to the world. And he basically hit the reset button the way that, like, way back in the day in the 2000s, when you be playing video games with somebody, you're whooping somebody's ass on Tekken or NBA 2K Live, whatever you're playing, and they just reach up and they hit the reset button to start the game over. Now you have it online where people rage quit. That's basically what Kawaki did. And Jura, he's not the beginning. He's just the start, in my opinion. Konoha, Boruto, they may need to face a Kawaki who's, again, less of a shinobi when we get to that flash forward sequence and more like being a god without a soul. And that's going to be part of Boruto's journey to redeem Kawaki. As a quick reminder, the chapter review should be out tomorrow. If it isn't, we'll delay it by a day, but I thank you guys in advance for your patience and your support. In the meantime, click here to check out that Don video that I mentioned earlier, or click here to check out videos from Naruto Explained or from my One Piece channel. And I did record the community response video, so that will be up in the next few days. Thanks you guys for watching. Have an awesome day.